the people who really get far in life, who really achieve something, it's not that they're so goal-driven. They don't think, I want to become a master, I want to write this great book. They're actually people who enjoy the process of their work. Like, I enjoy putting the book together, researching it, building it. If all I thought about was the end and getting money and attention and being on Barry Kubrick, it wouldn't work. You have to actually literally enjoy the details that are involved in your work. And how do you do that? Well, you choose a career that at least excites you in some way, where you can handle the setbacks, the tedium, the practice, the boring hours. It's inevitable. If you want to be a great violinist, you're not going to be born that way. You have to put in the 10,000, the 20,000 hours. And the more you do it, the more pleasurable it becomes. The more pleasurable it becomes, the harder you practice.
What up, YouTube? I'm going to expand on a short that was posted on my page at one point, and I think about it a lot, and I process the information a lot, and it's very near and dear to who I am and what I want to create. Is it costs what it costs, and here's the approach that, or here's the thing that I often get. Coach, how do you blank, 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 blank? And the question sometimes comes from a person that they really don't know how to ask and properly ask questions. And I've been that person to not know how to ask questions. So I would just go up and say things to just see if I could, receive something of value from a person that I may admired, or I may been somewhat jealous or envious of what they have. And I would go up to them and I would ask questions. And I learned something in the process of asking questions. You got to know how to ask them. So I have this thing to where I was young, 24 maybe, and I was around a man. He unfortunately is no longer with us, but his name's Alex. And I would spend a lot of time with him. We were spending most of our time in the Baltimore, Annapolis area in Maryland. And we would see a lot of wealthy people. We were into boat detailing. So we'd be around different people of all different walks of life. But I would be around him and he would do this cool thing. At least I thought it was very cool. He would walk up to a person with a nice car, and I'm thinking like, well, what is he going to say? And I would process the information like, oh my God, what can he say? And I'm nervous. And he did the thing that I still do to this day. He just said, is that car as nice as they say they are? Say it is, or something like that. And the person would always look at him first, kind of skeptical, and then they would answer. And it would start a conversation. And he was very good at asking the proper questions to getting the information he wants. And here was the cost. I didn't have that skill. And it was a cost for me, because I had to spend days, months, years asking him that skill. How did you develop that? What did you develop? What was you doing? Where did you learn that? And come to find out, he was a stock trader in his younger life. He was in his 40s at the time. He was a stock trader. I can't remember how old he was, but anyway. And he started explaining stocks to me, and explaining how I'm laughing because he was hilarious when he explained things. Very animated person. And he would explain like, when this happened and when you can do a private placement deal here, and then you buy the stock option, and he's just going. And I had no idea the terms that he was talking about. So he's like, brother, that's what he called me, like, brother, take my book. And he gave me basically a stock dictionary of all the terms that he would say. And as we would sit in the car, whether he's talking about things, I would look up the words and read the definitions. And I did that for years, and I still have that book to this day. And that was over 10 years ago. It was over 12 years ago, actually. And I would look at everything that he said, every word he would say, everything that when we would go places and he would talk to people, I would just gather information, how he talks to people, how he gets, makes deals, when we're on a boat, how he negotiates, all that stuff is time when I spent with him. I wasn't in things like, are you making tons of money? And all? No. Forget the money part. That's ridiculous, because I was learning something amazing right now. At that moment, it was a cost. It cost me a tremendous amount of time with this person, but the value, you couldn't put a price on it, because I was actually living that, I was in essence at school. He was my school. I was like, okay, so what about this? So when you buy a stock, what does this happen? When you made that deal on that boat, why did you say this? Why does this person have a nice car? And we were around people that I would just say that they've done some things in their life, or accomplished some things in their life that are tremendous. I'm like, whoa, I can't believe in my mind, I ain't saying this to them, but I'm like, I can't believe I'm talking to this person. And they're not, I guess you could say, what we would call famous today. They were people behind the scenes who done very well for themselves. And I was fortunate enough to sit in one of these person's house and discuss things. And this person, he basically was in television, and I don't mean a producer or anything. He was the broadcaster, and his company at the time was doing stuff with Comcast. And I remember we were eating at McDonald's, and this person shares with me, I was talking about, my oldest was born. So I was talking about my kid and, my wife, and he was like, oh, I'm jealous of you. I'm divorced, and, I don't see my daughter that much. I believe that's what he's saying. And I was just sitting back, like, we didn't discuss money. We didn't discuss any of that. We were just discussing, I was young, and he was saying, keep going after it, keep walking the path, stick to it, because my whole thing was, everybody likes being an entrepreneur. I never really sought to be an entrepreneur. I was just more of, I didn't want a job. And it cost me a lot of time, but I also met a lot of people. And people, again, this is a story I don't share. I don't think I've ever shared it really to the people around me. But that was a cost for me. It was a cost of time. There was plenty of times where, her name is Kate Gaffin. She's been tremendous in my life. I still talk to Kate. I think we were just messing each other. She had a birthday last month, so did I. And when I started the YouTube page, she actually sent me a message and was telling me some great things. That's what Kate is. And Kate, every time I talk to Kate, she always says, I'm gonna get surprised. I get surprised when you say, how much I've done for you. But Kate has been tremendous in my life. And I've probably, I don't want to start getting numbers and trying to figure out how many times have I seen her, but I want to give one example of what Kate's done for me. It gave me a tremendous different perspective on life, on just a lot of things. Kate's done a lot, but I'm just going to share this one thing. And it's short and simple. And Kate invited me to a conference or something. I wasn't sure what it was, but it was, either way, it was a big deal, to the UN in New York, the UN, the United Nations. And I was excited. Like I was so excited. And Google was there, Coca-Cola, CNBC, Maria Bartiromo. I'm going to say her name, but I think she's on CNN now. I'm not really sure, but she used to be on CNBC back in 2010 or 2009. And there was just a lot of amazing people, a lot of, you would say, companies today that are, huge. Coca-Cola has always been Coca-Cola, but I remember Google being there. And when she did that, I had an opportunity to talk to some different people that I never would ever assume to be in a circle. I actually was talking to a Google exec. I guess that's what was there. Yeah, executive was there. And it was that simple thing for that, you could say it was her. She was like, oh, no, Joe, would you like to come? And I'm like, yeah. And it wasn't simple for me. It was huge. It was huge for me. And I still talk about that. and she actually, when COVID hit, we were emailing each other. She's fancy, so she's in another. I'm messing with you, Kate, but she's in another country right now. She said some things to me, or shared some things with me about me. Let's just say that I'm gonna wait till we're sitting face to face to really explain to her exactly those words, but I can explain on YouTube how it made me feel. It was like the Avatar movie. She saw me. She's, I see you. And she was tremendous and one of the few people that really just gave me, I always call it a tongue lash, and she's not really that type. At least I haven't seen that side of you. She gave me a good tongue lashing of, you're amazing, and you need to start believing in yourself because I can see it. And so the time how I met Kate was I would drive to New York to go to her functions, and then I would drive back to Delaware in the same night. And the second time I went up, I made an impression, and she was like, "You drove from Delaware?" And I was like, "Yeah," and I'm thinking like it's no big deal. I wanted something, but she said, "No, that's different." And that's what it cost me. And I've done that more than once. And she knows that, and Toya knows that, but I would do that. It cost me something. It cost me time, obviously. I wanted to be home with my kids. So, was I tired? Like, tired was irrelevant. I wanted something out of life. I wanted something that, to give me something. And Kate, in this particular story that I'm sharing, she gave me a lot, and it helped me on my journey across the country when me and Toya left Virginia. So what's the cost of what you want? There was no price that I would put on what Alex gave me. There was no cost that I put on what Alex gave me. There was no cost I would put on what Kate gave me. I still hold it to this day, and I share it with people, and they continue to, ask the questions, how did you learn that? How did you accomplish that? How did you get that mindset? And I can go stories and stories for days, but most people don't realize, like, it wasn't it wasn't the money. It was just the time and in essence the drive. And I've had people say to me, I love when you talk about quotes and you break them down, or you say a scripture or a verse in the Bible, you break down. And that was something that I was like, I'm just trying to understand it. I'm not really trying to walk around saying, and I guess you can say I'm a theologian or I'm a philosopher. Like, all that stuff was irrelevant to me. My cost that I was saying, I just wanted to be informed, and I wanted to be challenged. I wanted to challenge myself to see how much I could learn. It was never in my mind to be a multi-billionaire and all this. I mean, that I like nice things, but that's not really my focus. My focus is to gain as much as I can in this short existence I have on the planet. So how much does it cost to get all that? Like, maybe you can Google some stuff. I won't, because I don't really care, but how much it costs to get this. Well, I'm not talking about a Ferrari or Aston Martin or a Lamborghini or a multi-million dollar. I'm not talking about that price. I'm talking about the mind price. Like, how much are you willing to sacrifice of your, social media? How many videos can we scroll through on social media? And I can't say everybody, but people have been a victim of social media, where they're just scrolling through and I do this. I'll be like, what the heck am I doing? Let me go switch this up. Let me go watch some videos. Like, I have YouTube and I have my watch list, and like I said, I always to catch up on my videos. But it costs me, honestly, I don't know the price. There is no price. So it costs what it costs. Everything that I could say that Einstein knows, I can only imagine the repetition he's put in. I can only imagine the repetition Michael Jordan has put in. I only imagine the repetition Herschel Walker has put in. I believe Herschel Walker's push-ups and different things, or Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith, Deion Sanders. I'm obviously naming athletes, but then we can't forget about, the entrepreneurs or the people. Like I believe I mentioned Richard Branson. I admire him on how he started his company. And it cost him, and he's dyslexic, and so am I. So it costs something for me to sometimes send text messages. It takes me a little bit longer, but I don't mind that, because I pay more attention to certain things because it does take me a little longer. That's the cost. So yeah, it costs what it costs is, and I can keep going on what it costs to accomplish a goal, but everybody wants the price and everybody wants to pay. No, I said that wrong. A lot of people think there is a price and they figure they can pay. To be successful, it only lasts if you put the cost, what it costs on it. And that's what I've learned. And that's what I now I will share more of. So what does it cost to be great? What it costs. How much time does it take? As much time as needed. So there it is. Hey folks, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Oh yeah, hit that bell, so you can know more about Swift Sundays.